Hi everyone, welcome back to Pure Crochets. Today we are creating this beautiful pair of shorts and this is how it looks. It has very beautiful pattern at the bottom and the body. It's an easy tutorial and I hope you will get through along well. Kindly subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up and write down your thoughts on the comment section. So let's get started with this easy tutorial I'm so excited about. Okay. Okay, we are using acrylic yarn. You can use any other type of yarn you have. This is 100% acrylic yarn and it's 50 grams. We will need a 4.0 mm hook for this project. This is a 4.0 mm hook. You'll also need a pair of scissors, stitch marker, a darning needle and a tape measure. Okay, to begin we are working from the waist going downwards, so please take your hips measurements and we will begin by making a slip knot like this. After you've made your slip knot, we are going to chain as long as your hips measurement is. My hips measurement is 40 inches and we are chaining all the way to your hips measurements. Kindly stretch your work just a little bit, don't overstretch your work to your hips measurements. Once you're done, you are going to make sure your work is straight, so just straighten your work like this and please make sure your work fits your hips measurements. Okay, it stretches to your hips measurements. Then you're going to straighten your work like this. Okay, once you're at the end here, you will place your hook at the first stitch that we did here like this. Please make sure it's on the first stitch. Then we will join everything with a slip stitch like this. Okay, then you chain one and make sure you have a round circle like this. Double check your work to make sure the circle is round, otherwise it will be a waste of time. You'll have to frog your work. Okay, once everything is 100% sure with you, we will start with our first row, and our first row is a row of single crochets. We're going in every stitch creating single crochets all round. So after you've chained one, you just go straight ahead to the next stitch and we are creating single crochets across all the chains that you made. I will meet you at the end of the row of your work. Okay, okay, once you're done with your first row of single crochets, your work should look like this. Okay, then you will chain two, turn your work, and we are working a row of double crochets. So go in the next stitch after chain two and do a double crochet like this. Go in the next stitch and make a double crochet, and we're making double crochets across all the stitches that you have. I will meet you at the end of this row. Remember, now this is row 2 and we are working normal double crochets across all the stitches. Are at the end of our work, and to join, go on top of chain 2 like this and join using a slip stitch. Then chain 2, 1, 2, turn your work, yarn over. Always keep this first stitch, this that has chain 2, always keep this and go to the second stitch and make a double crochet. So we are also doing double crochets in this row. I will meet you at the end of your work. It's just a normal row of double crochets. Let's meet at the end of this row. Are at the end here, and we always join on top of chain 2 like this using a slip stitch, then chain 2, turn your work, and now we are making something different. So we are now working on the mesh stitch. To work on the mesh stitch, yarn over, skip this first stitch, okay, skip the chain 2, then skip the first stitch, go to the next stitch and make a double crochet like this. Okay, chain 1, yarn over, skip this stitch, go to the next one and make a double crochet, chain 1, yarn over, skip this stitch, go to the next one, do a double crochet, chain 1, so skip that, go to this, do a double crochet, chain 1, yarn over, skip this, go to the next, do a double crochet, then you chain 1, yarn over. So this is how we are going to work. You just skip one stitch, go to the next one and do a double crochet. After the double crochet, kindly remember to do a chain 1 to begin a new double crochet. So we will work like this. I will meet you at the end of this row of mesh stitches. Okay, we are at the end here, so there is one stitch left and we'll just skip that stitch, then go on top of chain 2 and join using a slip stitch like this. Okay, and then you chain 2, turn your work, and then we are doing something new. So yarn over, go in this first space, this space here, and do a double crochet inside like this. Yarn over, go on top of the double crochet, this double crochet, and do a double crochet like this. Yarn over, go in the space, do a double crochet. Next, go on top of the double crochet and do a double crochet. The next one, we go inside the space and do a double crochet. The next, go on top of the double crochet and do a double crochet. So this is how we'll work on this row. We're working a double crochet in the middle of the space and on top of the double crochet. So do that. I will meet you at the end of this row. Okay. This is how my work looks. So we are at the end here. We are joining at the top of chain 2 using a slip stitch like this. Then your work should look like this, okay? So to begin the next row, chain 2, turn your work, and it's a row of double crochets. So yarn over, go in the next stitch and do a double crochet, and we're just doing normal double crochets. I will meet you at the end of this row. Okay, I'm hoping you're following up and everything is clear by now. So just do a normal row of double crochet, go in each space, in each stitch, sorry, and do a double crochet. I'll meet you at the end of this row. We are at the end, and at the end here we always join on top of chain 2 like this using a slip stitch. To begin a new row, chain 2, turn your work, and again this is a row of double crochets. So yarn over, just go like this in the next stitch and do a double crochet. And basically this is the pattern. We are going to repeat this over and over again until your work is long enough to your preference. For me, I did 6.5 inches. So it's a combination of mesh stitch and 3 double crochets. Okay, so finish up this row and I'll meet you at the end here. The end, and we are joining using a slip stitch on top of chain 2 like this. Chain 2 to begin a new row, turn your work, and this row is going to be a row of mesh stitches. So skip that first stitch, go to the next stitch and do a mesh like this, then chain 1, yarn over, skip this stitch, go in the next, do a double crochet. After double crochet, chain 1, you yarn over, skip the next, go to the next stitch and do a double crochet. Chain 1, yarn over, skip the next stitch, go to the next stitch and do a double crochet. Then you chain 1, yarn over, and continue the pattern. As I said, it's a repetition of this pattern, a repetition of mesh and 2 and 3 double crochets. Okay, I hope it's clear. Let's do this. I worked like this all the way to 6 inches, so I'm hoping the pattern is clear now. I will meet you once we are done with this row. We are at the end of the row. We'll join on top of chain 2 using a slip stitch. There's one chain left there, so just go on top of chain 2 that we made here, and we are joining using a slip stitch like this. Then chain 2, turn your work, and now we are doing a row of double crochets. Yarn over, go on top of the double crochet and do a double crochet. Remember, on this row we are doing double crochets on top of the double crochet and in the spaces. So the next stitch, go in the space and do a double crochet. The next one, go on top of the double crochet and do a double crochet, sorry. The next, go in the space and do a double crochet. So we are working like this, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. Okay, so yes. Okay, we are at the end of the row, so go on top of chain 2 like this and join using a slip stitch. Make sure it's on top of chain 2. Okay, chain 2 to begin a new row, turn your work, and On this row is a row of double crochets, okay? So we do double crochets until the end. I will meet you at the end of your work. Remember, it's just a normal row of double crochets. So this is how our work is looking, and that is the pattern. It's 1 mesh and 3 rows of double crochet. Remember, the first row we are doing a double crochet on top of the double crochet and in the middle of the chain, then 2 rows of normal double crochet. I hope this is clear. So 1 mesh, 1 stitch on top of the double crochet and in the middle of the mesh, then 2 normal rows of double crochets, and we are going to work like this for 6 inches. I will meet you once your work is at 6 inches, so we start on the legs. Okay, I am here and this is 6 inches. This is how my work looks, and the width is 17 inches. Remember, I told you guys your work has to stretch to your hips measurement. 17 by 2 is 36. Remember, my work is 40. This pattern is quite stretchy, so this stretches to my hips measurements, which is 40. So it's 6 inches of stretching, but do not overstretch your work so much. Now find the middle part of your crotch area. Remember where we used to join our yarn? That is the middle part. So go to the other side of your work like this and insert a stitch marker just exactly on the other side where you used to turn our work from, okay? And now we want to work on the crotch area. For the crotch area, I don't want my crotch area to be so tight, so I am going to chain 25. For size extra small, chain 15. For size small, chain 20. Medium, chain 25. Large, 30. Extra large, 35. But I am more size small, but I don't want the crotch to be so tight, so I went with 25, okay? I want something really comfortable. This is a beach wear, so I went with 25, which is perfectly comfortable. It doesn't squeeze nothing. So once you're done with the chains, we are going to join to the other side of the stitch marker using a slip stitch, and this is how we do it. Remove your stitch marker and then just go to this other side and join the chains on the other side using a slip stitch. Okay, once you have joined, like I have to repeat that, sorry. Just join using a slip stitch like that. Chain 1. Your work should look like this, okay? It should be on a straight line. Just double check that if everything is well aligned before you continue with anything, so you know which direction you are going, okay? Chain 1 and turn. Make sure your work is on the correct way. Chain another one, so that is 2 chains. And now we are going through the 25 chains that we did using double crochets. That's why I chained 2, and then you yarn over and you start a row of double crochets across all the chains that you made on the crotch area. Are we clear up to that? I hope so. So let's meet at the end of these chains. Okay, we are at the end, and this is how your work should look. And now we are continuing with the pattern on this side. So check which pattern you finished with, which we finished with a double crochet, meaning the next chain will be a mesh chain. So skip the first stitch, go to the second stitch and make a mesh the way we used to make meshes, and just double check to see if your work is okay. And then now we start on the pattern, which is the mesh. So skip this stitch, go to the next one and do a double crochet like this, chain 1, yarn over, skip this, go to the next and do a mesh. And now we are going to work one leg hole at a time. Okay, we finish one leg, then we go to the next one. So now we are working on this side of the leg. Once we finish this side, we will go on the other side. Complete your row of meshes. I will meet you at the end of this first row. I'm almost at the end here, so I do my last mesh stitch here like this, and literally you can join here using a slip knot or just continue with the pattern, which is double crochets. I decided to continue using double crochets, but you can slip stitch and turn, but we will do that later. So let's just continue the double crochets. On the crotch area, I just want to work with double crochets only, no mesh in the crotch area. So once you reach the crotch area, just continue with a row of double crochets across the crotch area, and I'll meet you once you're done with this crotch area. I will meet you once we get here. Okay. Okay, this is how my work looks, and now we want to work on the mesh on this other side. Okay, so yarn over, go on this first space and do a double crochet inside the mesh. Remember, the same way we were working is the same way we are working even on the leg hole. So I'll go inside here and make a double crochet, but make sure your work is aligned. This is a tricky area. Please make sure your work is aligned before deciding to either do a double crochet in that space or not, because it might leave a big hole near your back area. So yeah, so continue with the pattern, which is just a row of double crochet inside the spaces and on top of double crochets. I will meet you once we're done with this row. Okay. We are at the end here, and we are now on the crotch area again. Just go ahead in the crotch area and do rows of normal double crochets. Okay, the crotch area is always normal rows of double crochets, and your work should look like this. So let's flip this around and see how we are going. Okay, so we already finished the pattern, which is the mesh. Then we have done a double crochet in and out, and then next we are going just a normal row of double crochets. Remember, the pattern is the same, nothing changes. Okay, so this is how your work should look. We did the same thing, normal rows of double crochets, no turning or what. And now I want to put the mesh again, but now we want to do something different. On the last mesh, now we want to chain and turn. Okay, remember on this leg hole we have not been turning anywhere. We were supposed to turn at the first point here, but we didn't, so I decided to turn here. Okay, so I will chain 2. This is after my last row of double crochet. Chain 2 and turn, and please make sure you turn in the middle where we have been turning all this time. Okay, from the body. So chain 2 and turn, and now we want to work on the mesh stitch. So skip this stitch, go to the next one and make a mesh. Chain 1, yarn over, skip this, go to the next and make a mesh, and I will meet you at the end of this row. I'm hoping this is clear. Okay, if not, write to me on the comment section. So we are going to make meshes all round, and I'll meet you once we are here. We are at the end, and now we are joining on top of chain 3 using a slip stitch, sorry. So this is how my work looks. Let's go and complete this, and then please do 2 more rows of normal double crochets, okay? Do that, okay? After this, 2 more rows. So I went ahead and did 2 more rows of double crochets, and also did the last mesh chain. As you can see down here, this is the mesh chain. And now after the mesh chain, I want to now work on the ribbing at the legs. So go in and do a single crochet in the next space like that, okay? Then you chain 3, yarn over, in the same space do 3 double crochets. Sorry for the lighting. Go in the next space, this, do a single crochet. Go in the next space, do a single crochet. Then chain 3, yarn over, do the first double crochet, the second double crochet, and the third double crochet. I'm really sorry for the lighting, guys, so let me try to fix it. This is how your work should look. After the 3 double crochets, you go to the next space. I'm sorry, now it's fixed. Go to the next space and do a single crochet. Go to the next, do a single crochet. Then chain 3, yarn over, and do 3 double crochets in the same space. Okay, this is how they look. Go to the next space and do a single crochet like this. Next, do a single crochet, then chain 3 and do 3 double crochets in the same space. So we are going to work like this, the ribbing, and once we are done, I'll meet you at the end of this row, okay? We are at the end here, and to join, you go on top of chain 3 and join using a slip stitch like this. Then chain 1 and cut off your yarn, okay? And this is how we do the leg hole. We've done 1, we are going to do the same thing to the next one. I will show you halfway on how we work on the second leg hole. I hope this is clear, like really understandable. So this is how it looks. It's so cute. We're now going to work on the next leg hole. So we're going to reattach our yarn in the middle here and then start the work, but it's the same pattern. It's nothing complicated, but for this leg hole it will be different. We will start turning right from the first stitch. We will not turn in the middle of our work. to avoid confusion. Okay, so reattach your yarn. I'm doing a slip knot now, then I will reattach my yarn in the middle. Go in the middle and reattach it. Let me zoom in so you can see clearly. So this is the middle of my work, and I choose to reattach my yarn here like this using a slip stitch. Okay, so that's it, and now we continue with the pattern. You look what pattern started here. So if we check here, it is the mesh stitch. So we now continue with the mesh stitch. Chain 3, 1 2 3, and then immediately start working on the mesh stitch. Okay, so skip this, go to the next and do a mesh stitch. Always remember to yarn over, skip that, and do a mesh stitch like this. Chain 1, yarn over, skip this, go to the next and do a mesh stitch. I will meet you at the end of this row. Okay, please remember we are doing mesh stitches all around, but once we get to this crotch area here, we will do a row of normal double crochets. This first mesh, we didn't do it on the crotch area, just the second mesh and the last mesh. Okay, so I am done, and this is at the end of my work. You see I did normal double crochets on the crotch area, and here we are joining using a slip stitch on top of chain 3 like this. Okay, like that. Then chain 2. Now we are turn your work and continue the pattern, which is just now double crochets. We are starting with the crotch area, which is normal double crochets. Then once you get to the mesh area, is 1 double crochet in the space of the mesh and 1 double crochet on top of the mesh. Okay, then after this we'll do 2 more double crochets, then create 1 more mesh stitch, and then 2 more double crochets, and then the last mesh, then do the ribbing. Okay, I hope that is clear. So I'll meet you once you're done with your work. So let's meet once we are done and the leg looks like the other leg. I am done, and this is how my work turned out. It's so pretty. The leg looks like that, both of them. So now we want to work on the waist, and this is how the crotch area looks like. Okay, it should look like this. Now we want to work on the waist. Reattach your yarn in the center of your work here. I'm still showing you the legs anyway. I liked it so much. It's a pretty pattern, I think. It's easy. So let's start working on the waist. It's so big and we need to reduce this. Okay, but if your waist is bigger than your hips, I think this will fit. I'm still using the same hook, and we're going to reattach our yarn in the middle here and then begin with the work. So my yarn is attached. I chained 1, and now this is a row of single crochets. We are going in each stitch and do single crochets, and in total we will work 4 rows of single crochets. You can do more rows, but I did 4 rows of single crochets. This is row 1. To begin row 2, I will join first using a slip stitch on top of the chain 1 like this, then chain 1, turn your work, and you're beginning row 2. Okay, and as I said earlier, I did 4 rows of single crochets. Please always remember to turn your work and chain 1 after the slip stitch. And now again, this is just a row of single crochets. Go ahead and do 4 rows of single crochets. I will meet you once you're done with the 4 rows of single crochets, and then we will put the waistband, the drawstring. Okay. Okay, I am done, and this is how my work looks. I want to put the drawstring. I went ahead and chained 300 chains, and it's on my darning needle, and we are going on top here in each stitch. Insert in this stitch, skip one stitch, come out from the next, skip this stitch, come out from the next. You guys know how to put a drawstring, right? So I'm just putting in the drawstring, then we will be done with our work. Okay. So this is how the shorts turned out. It's so cute. I love it so much. I hope you enjoy this tutorial. Give it a thumbs up, share your thoughts at the comment section, subscribe, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Thank you so much for your support. I love you all so much. See you soon. Take care of yourselves, and again, thank you so much for the massive support. Ciao.